AI adoption in real world evidence and R&D side of it? Because we heard about a lot of different solutions such as systematic literature review, identifying
Yeah.
adverse events, identifying entities from the clinical notes, etc., or like reading out the medical records and all. So what do you think, like all these kind of solutions are making a real time impact, or like is this something like just for a quite some time now and then people will not use it or something?
Well, there were a lot of different examples you gave there. So, as for using generative AI on the chart notes, I 100% think that will stay. That will stay as long as we're still collecting prose chart notes. There will be some use for generative AI or some to whatever the next version of generative AI is on extracting insights out of there. One of the reasons for that is you have a life science use case and you have a payer use case, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that in the payer world we'd call that chart review. And that's really powerful for for chart coding. You want to get paid by the providers want to get paid by the payers, and the government program payers want to get paid by CMS or their
Yeah.
state Medicaid offices. So they need to know specifically what is being seen, what is occurring in that visit. For literature review, I imagine, I mean, I'm I I imagine they'll stay around here for long. You gave a couple other examples. So literature review, I think yes. Chart review, I also think yes. What were the other examples that you gave?
Yeah, we discussed about identifying adverse events, identifying clinical
Yeah.
events, etc.
So here's my question: what data set are you referring to? Because I've worked with a few when we're talking about adverse events. I
Mm-hmm.
also think label expansion, off-label use would be
Yeah. Okay.
a good one for that. But if we're just talking adverse event detection, if you're looking in the EMRs, you may have some. But have you ever looked at patient reported data from like the digital patient communities and things like that?
Not directly from the community, but the thing is like the notes from the medical side, from the different clinical outcomes from clinical sites and all during the clinical trials. So that is
Yeah,
what we are capturing to identifying adverse events and all, or any kind of adverse event being reported by registries during the post
bingo.
marketing surveillance.
Yeah, I think that's where that in the patient registries is where I spent some time working. There are a few interesting companies. The company that I came from, Inspire, they're based out of Arlington, outside of DC. There's another company based out of Israel called Stuff That Works. That's really interesting. Like where they're creating these patient registries. Like patients are coming on to these platforms and commiserating about their condition. So you end up having a lot of each platform is different. I mean, you can look at Patients Like Me, which you may already be aware of. They're owned by Optum now, but those guys really have an opportunity, in my opinion, to do interesting things on adverse event detection because you have patients that are self-selecting into these disease communities,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in some cases they're doing good documentation on what drugs they're taking, but you can connect those guys up to the EMRs and then uh, connect them up to the EMRs, and then they already have a mechanism for self-reporting of adverse events, but they're going to be doing it in prose, right? So then, generative AI, there's a place for that. As soon as you want to move beyond clicking a radio button and you want to say, no, this is the event. I took this drug and 9 hours later, I was on the floor of my bathroom throwing up blood. Uh, that's you know you may not be able to think of that question to ask.